Psalm 121, Morning Prayer for Strength and Hope. Confident in God's care. Every morning you wake up, the world offers you two choices. Face your day with anxiety, uncertainty, and weariness, or step boldly into it, wrapped in the promises of the God who never sleeps, never tires, and never fails. Psalm 121 is more than just ancient words on a page. It's a powerful declaration of faith and assurance, tailor-made for moments exactly like this. Moments when life feels uncertain and you're searching for something firm to hold on to. You see, mornings are sacred opportunities. They're the doorway between yesterday's worries and today's possibilities. Psalm 121 speaks directly into this space, reminding us that help isn't something we desperately chase after, but rather a reality already available through our relationship with God. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. These aren't idle poetic phrases. They're the profound truth that your strength, peace, and direction today aren't dependent on your circumstances. They're rooted in a powerful, unchanging God who loves you deeply. Maybe right now you're in a season where you desperately need that assurance. Perhaps life's storms have tested your strength. Or maybe everything seems fine, but underneath, you're still searching for that sense of lasting security. Psalm 121 was written precisely for this, reminding you that God's protection and faithfulness aren't just vague ideas, but practical realities that impact your day-to-day life. As we explore this psalm together in this morning prayer, my hope and prayer is simple, that these ancient truths would become deeply personal, transforming your mornings from hurried routines into moments of powerful connection with God. Because when you begin your day anchored in His promises, something remarkable happens. You no longer face the world alone. You walk in strength that isn't your own, confidence that defies circumstances, and peace that's truly unshakable. Let's begin this journey together. Psalm 121 isn't just a random choice. It's a song deeply rooted in God's heart for you. It's written for real people facing real life, just like you and me. To truly understand its impact, we need to first see where it's coming from and why it matters so deeply today. When the psalmist penned Psalm 121, he was likely on a journey, traveling towards Jerusalem, towards the temple, a place of worship and presence. Imagine him lifting his eyes upward toward those mountains, aware of dangers, uncertain about the path ahead, but determined to trust. He knew he couldn't make it alone, so he declared confidently, "My help comes from the Lord." This psalm was meant to be sung along tough roads, a constant reminder that you're not traveling alone, no matter how rough or uncertain the journey feels. Today, your life might not involve literal mountains, but I bet you face situations that felt just as impossible, just as intimidating. Financial pressures, broken relationships, worries about health, uncertainty about the future. But here's the good news. The God who watched over that traveler thousands of years ago is still the same God who's watching over you. He isn't far off or detached. He's present, attentive, and powerfully ready to help. That brings us to something incredibly practical for your mornings. When Psalm 121 opens with, "I lift up my eyes," it reveals a crucial principle. Before anything else, seek God first. It's so easy to start your day overwhelmed by messages, news, or responsibilities, letting anxiety creep in and shape your mindset. But imagine the shift that happens when your first thought in the morning is to intentionally look upward, to acknowledge God's presence before facing anything else. This small change isn't insignificant. It shifts your perspective and empowers you, aligning your heart and mind with God's promises rather than the chaos around you. And let's be honest, it's tempting to seek help from everywhere but God, isn't it? We run to temporary comforts, quick fixes, or human solutions, hoping they'll sustain us. Yet deep down, we know something is missing. The psalmist recognized clearly where his true help came from, the maker of heaven and earth. Think about that for a second. The one who created galaxies, oceans, mountains, and your very heartbeat. is personally committed to helping you. He invites you daily to lean into his strength rather than depending on yourself. Psalm 121 continues with a powerful promise. He will not let your foot slip. Life is often filled with slippery paths, situations that seem stable until suddenly they're not. Maybe you've experienced that already, losing a job, experiencing unexpected setbacks, dealing with broken trust. Yet God's promise here is clear. He is with you, offering stability even when the ground beneath you seems shaky. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficulties. Rather, it means you're held securely even in the middle of uncertainty, guided by a loving God who sees your struggles clearly and cares deeply about your steps. Think about your own journey right now. What slippery places are you facing? Where are you tempted to lose hope or give in to fear? The beautiful truth in Psalm 121 is that God himself is standing guard over your life. It might feel sometimes like he's silent, but he's never absent. Even when you can't see him clearly, his presence is steady, unwavering, and constant. But Psalm 121 doesn't stop there. It goes even deeper, declaring something incredible about God's character. He who watches over you will not slumber. God isn't just present. He's actively engaged. He never gets tired or distracted. There's not a single moment when his attention shifts away from you. When you lay awake at night worrying, guess who else is awake right there with you? God. When you're struggling in quiet moments, feeling isolated, unsure of what tomorrow holds, God hasn't forgotten. He's wide awake, watching closely, fully aware of exactly what you need, precisely when you need it. Maybe you've been through seasons where you wondered if God noticed what was going on, or if your prayers were even heard. If you felt that way, let Psalm 121 reassure your heart today. God isn't merely aware of you. He's fully invested. He cares deeply, passionately, and personally about your life, your struggles, your dreams, and your fears. In fact, right now, as you hear these words, he's reminding you that he's already moving, protecting, guiding, and working things out in ways you can't yet see. Psalm 121 also reveals God as your shade at your right hand. Shade might seem insignificant, but think about what shade represents in a hot, scorching desert. Shade means rest, relief, comfort, and shelter. Shade means someone cares enough to shield you from harm. Maybe today you're longing for exactly that, a safe place, protection from emotional burnout, overwhelming anxiety, or the relentless pressures of life. The Lord is your shade. He desires to cover you, to be your safe place, to offer you comfort and peace, even in life's hottest moments. So as you begin your day today, think of God as more than just a distant deity. See him instead as a caring, compassionate presence who knows exactly where you're vulnerable, exactly where you're tired, and exactly where you need support. He's offering you not only protection, but rest, a place where you can exhale, recharge, and regain strength. This isn't theory, it's reality. It's not about religion, it's relationship. God wants you to lean into him today to start your mornings, fully confident of his care, provision, and strength. He invites you to journey alongside him, reassured and comforted by the truth of Psalm 121, that he truly is your helper, your protector, and your faithful companion through every step you take. When the psalmist writes that the sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night, he's speaking directly to the relentless pressures and anxieties we face every single day. The sun by day represents those overwhelming challenges that we can see coming, the job deadlines, relationship strains, financial pressures, or health concerns. The moon by night symbolizes the unexpected things, the hidden fears, the anxieties that creep up silently, the restless nights when worries flood your heart. But here's the beautiful truth this psalm offers. Neither the obvious threats nor the hidden struggles can overcome you when you're walking with God. Think of your own daily battles. You wake up, check your phone, And before your feet even hit the floor, anxiety can rush in. Your mind races through everything you have to face. But Psalm 121 declares you're not fighting those battles alone. God sees clearly every stressor, every obstacle and every concern ahead of you, and He's already prepared to sustain you. This isn't wishful thinking. It's God's solid promise. You can confidently step into your day knowing that nothing ahead of you is too big for the God who's walking beside you. But what about the night? That quiet moment when you're finally alone, yet your mind won't let you rest. Those fears that creep in, the regrets, the uncertainties, those quiet anxieties that no one else seems to understand, God sees those clearly too. Psalm 121 reminds you powerfully, God's protection doesn't clock out when darkness falls. He's just as active, just as protective in the nighttime seasons as He is during daylight moments. He's there in your loneliness, in your sleepless hours, in those moments when no one else understands. He comforts you, sustains you, and stands guard over your heart and mind. Yet you might wonder if God truly promises the Lord will keep you from all harm. Why does life still feel difficult sometimes? Why does pain, struggle, or disappointment still come? Here's something crucial to grasp. God's promise of protection doesn't mean you'll never experience challenges. Instead, it means that harm, the kind that could truly destroy your soul, faith, or future, can never overcome you. In other words, difficulties may arise, but God promises to carry you through each one, preserving your heart and your hope even when circumstances look bleak. This truth isn't just comforting, it's life-changing. Imagine how differently you'd face each day if you truly trusted that nothing, not illness, not financial stress, not relationship struggles, could ultimately separate you from God's care. Imagine the boldness you'd have, the courage you'd carry into every situation, knowing with certainty that God Himself is standing with you, ready to help, ready to guide, and always working for your good. This promise is yours, not someday in the distant future, but right here, right now, today. Then Psalm 121 makes another deeply personal promise. He will watch over your life. This isn't generic protection. It's personal, intentional, and tailored specifically to you. God sees you, not as a face in a crowd, but as His child, someone He knows intimately, loves deeply, and watches attentively. Maybe you felt overlooked at times, unseen or unappreciated. Perhaps you've wondered if anyone truly notices the hidden struggles you carry. Psalm 121 reassures you that God not only sees every detail of your story, He cares deeply about it. Think for a moment about what it means to have the Creator of the universe watching over you personally. He's not only aware of your dreams, desires, fears, and doubts. He's actively involved in your story, shaping every moment and guiding every step. Your life isn't random, accidental, or insignificant. It's meaningful, deeply valuable, and carefully held in God's faithful hands. Whether you're in a season of joy or struggling to see purpose, His promise remains firm. He watches over every moment, lovingly guiding you, even when you can't sense it clearly. Finally, Psalm 121 says that the Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Life is filled with constant transitions, from relationships and careers to seasons of grief or celebration. Every transition can feel uncertain, stressful, or even frightening, because stepping into something new always involves trust. But this psalm makes clear that whether you're entering into something new or stepping out of something familiar, God is right there with you, offering strength, stability, and peace. Perhaps you're currently in transition, changing jobs, starting a new relationship, adjusting to life after loss, or simply navigating the unknown. God's promise to you here is beautifully practical. He's already there. He's already gone before you, preparing the path. He will walk with you, no matter how uncertain things seem. Your role isn't to figure everything out on your own. It's simply to trust Him, lean on Him, and believe his promise that he's faithfully guiding each step you take. Yet there's even more depth hidden within these final words, both now and forevermore. You see, God's care isn't temporary or limited. It's eternal. Every step, every decision, every struggle, every joy, they all matter because your life has eternal significance. God doesn't just care about your immediate situation. He's deeply invested in your eternal story, shaping your heart and character for something bigger than today's challenges. He wants you to live today with an eternal perspective, knowing that your decisions, your prayers, and your faith carry significance that lasts beyond this moment and into eternity. So, as you walk through your day today, remember that you're not alone. You have a God who sees you, protects you, guides you, and loves you passionately, both right now and forever. Let this truth sink deeply into your heart. Face today's challenges boldly, knowing that the one who created heaven and earth is walking right beside you, caring about every detail, watching over every step, and faithfully keeping every promise. Life is marked by transitions, moments when you move from something familiar into something completely unknown. These transitions come in countless forms: starting a new job, relocating to a new city, entering marriage, becoming a parent, or even facing unexpected loss. Whatever your transition might be right now, Psalm 121 speaks specifically into these moments, reassuring you, the Lord will watch over your coming and going. This isn't merely poetic language. It's God personally reminding you, I see exactly where you are, exactly what you're facing, and exactly where you're going next. Maybe you're at one of these crossroads right now, and uncertainty is whispering doubts into your heart. You might be tempted to ask, am I making the right decision? Will this turn out okay? Is God really in this? I understand those feelings because transitions often trigger uncertainty and anxiety. But here's what Psalm 121 boldly proclaims. God's presence never wavers, never fades, and never abandons you, especially during transitions. He promises to faithfully guide your every step, even when the road ahead feels completely unfamiliar. Practically speaking, how do you live this out? It begins with trust, intentionally choosing day by day to surrender your worries and unknowns into His capable hands. It means believing that the God who led you safely here isn't about to abandon you now. In fact, He's already prepared everything you'll need ahead. Let this truth deeply encourage you today. Wherever you're going, He's already there. Wherever you've been, He's been faithfully guiding. Your part isn't to have everything figured out. Your role is simply to trust His promises, rely on His strength, and rest in His unwavering love. Yet Psalm 121 has one final profound truth to share with you. Perhaps the most powerful promise of, all God will watch over you, both now and forevermore. This isn't a casual commitment or a vague reassurance. It's an eternal promise. Your life isn't defined merely by today's problems or successes. It has eternal purpose and eternal significance. God's love, care, and presence aren't confined by time or circumstance. They're everlasting. Think about what it means for your life to be wrapped in eternal significance. It means that your decisions, prayers, and struggles aren't random. They're part of a bigger, deeper story God Himself is writing. It means every morning, as you open your eyes, you step into a day infused with purpose, a day in which you're guided and protected by an eternal God whose love for you will never diminish or fade. An eternal perspective changes everything. It reminds you that your struggles are temporary, your pain has purpose, and your joys are glimpses of something far greater to come. It transforms how you see your relationships, career, finances, and even your hardships, knowing that God is working all things for your good and His glory. Even when the world feels chaotic, you remain anchored by His eternal promises. This truth invites you into freedom, the freedom to trust, to release anxiety, to walk courageously into whatever comes next. When you understand your story through this eternal lens, every moment becomes precious, meaningful, and purpose-filled. And here's the beautiful reality. God's commitment to you isn't merely a future promise. It's already active in your life today, right now, as you hear these words. He's already shaping your heart, guiding your steps, and covering your life with His eternal love. Now, having journeyed deeply through Psalm 121 together, let's make this personal. God invites you to take this ancient, powerful psalm and shape it into your daily morning prayer, a prayer uniquely yours, filled with the richness of God's promises. Imagine the strength and peace you'll experience when every morning you intentionally declare, "Lord, I lift my eyes to you today. You alone are my help, my protector, my stability, my shade, and my eternal hope." The habit of morning prayer isn't merely a religious duty, it's transformative. As you build this habit into your life, it shifts your heart, mindset, and attitude toward every day. It sets you up for success, not success defined by worldly standards, but the deeper success of living life with confidence, joy, and unshakable peace. I've seen firsthand the transformation in countless lives that have chosen to begin each day rooted in prayer, aligned with God's eternal promises, and I promise it will transform yours too. So today, as we close this time together, my prayer for you is this: that Psalm 121 wouldn't just remain words on a page or verses you hear occasionally, but would become a living, breathing truth deep within your heart. Let its promises resonate clearly and powerfully in your soul. Whether your current journey feels smooth or uncertain, joyful or difficult, remember, the God who created mountains, stars, and oceans, the God who made you, walks intimately by your side. He's already provided everything you'll need today, tomorrow, and forevermore. May your mornings from this day forward become sacred moments where you confidently meet the day with courage and hope, fully aware of His unchanging love, ever-present help, and eternal faithfulness. As you lift your eyes each morning, may you see clearly your help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth.